Max Verstappen and Mercedes have been entangled in talks over the past couple of months. And although the saga seems to be over, that's not really the case. There are some new developments behind closed doors. After Russell's confession that the contract extension won't happen this summer, we can only think of one scenario. Wolff wants Max for 2027. Will this wish finally become reality for the Austrian team principal? And if so, will Russell be the sacrificial lamb, which we are led to believe by the current development of events between the Brit and his team? The current situation at Mercedes is very complicated. Toto Wolff admitted that the lineup he wants to enter the 2026 season with is the one he has right now, Russell and Antonelli. However, if you were to hear the interviews from Russell, I don't think you'd get the same impression. Despite him being confident that some type of deal will be reached, the prolonged talks mean only one thing. Wolff doesn't agree to Russell's terms. It's highly likely that Russell wants a multi-year contract, and not the infamous 1+1 deal that was offered to Hamilton before he activated the exit clause. And on the other hand, I don't think Wolff is ready to accept that kind of deal, knowing that Verstappen could become available in 2026. If you think about it, Red Bull is in a very poor position heading into the newly regulated era, and the chances of them being competitive at the top are slim to none. That is precisely why Wolff wants to see how things will play out on the other side of the field before he commits to Russell on a long-term basis. And if you consider the fact that Antonelli is his groomed talent, then it's obvious that a lineup of Max and Kimi is highly possible from 2027 onwards. There are lots of question marks here, but the biggest one seems to revolve around the requests made by Russell. He's proven that he can be a leader, and having won a race in the years when Mercedes struggled the most, including 2025, the Brit gave a clear verdict as to where he should be on Wolff's priority list. But on the other hand, he's no match for Verstappen. The Dutchman is a four-time world champion and won the title with the third fastest car on the grid last year. Plus, it's Max we're talking about. Why wouldn't you want one of the most dominant drivers in Formula One in your team? A big victory demands a big sacrifice. And in this case, it would be Russell having to wave goodbye to the team that raised him to where he is. I don't think this is a far-fetched scenario. The statements say it all when talking about prolonging his contract with Mercedes. Russell gave some subtle hints as to why it won't happen in the foreseeable future, or more precisely, the summer break. As he went on to say, "I'm 7 years into Formula One right now. I feel that I'm at my peak, and I feel that I'm still getting stronger as a driver. I was maybe more anxious about getting the deal done maybe 12 months ago, but right now, I've sort of waited so long. I want to make sure it's right. It's got to be right for the team. It's got to be right for me. It's got to all make sense. Duration has got to be right both ways. So, it's not as simple as saying, are you happy with what you're being paid? That's a very small factor of it. But there seems to be a very big obstacle beyond the financial reasoning as well. According to sources close to the team, Russell is seeking $35 million per year, which might be too much for Wolff to pay. At the end of the day, despite the talent he has and the worth he's proven, we need to be kind of realistic here. He's not a world champion. He hasn't been in a position to fight for one. He needs to have that chip below his belt before he can go out there and ask for the big bucks. And it's precisely why Wolff wants to implement the tactic of wait and see, because that's the same way he went into negotiating with Hamilton as well. Nothing else makes sense. Red Bull and Verstappen have committed to being together in 2026, and Russell and Mercedes are yet to do the same. The Dutchman situation was a bit easier because he has a contract that's about to end in 2028, while Russell doesn't have a contract for the next season. So, speaking theoretically, Russell can say no to Mercedes in 2026 and commit to another team, which would leave the Brackley-based squad in a very bad position. They could have their leader gone, and they'd have to go for an outside hire that's not named Max Verstappen. It's not a good position to be in, because you know that your future in Mercedes depends massively on what a four-time world champion like Max decides. No matter what you do, even if you finish ahead of him in the Drivers' Championship, you just can't beat the fact that he is a more wanted asset than you are. So, if you are Russell, can you actually salvage something from this situation? I think he can pull the rug out from under Mercedes' feet, but it's going to be a high-risk, high-reward situation for the Brit as well. He could play the ego card and say that he doesn't want to drive for Mercedes under the terms they're offering him. So if he springs open on the market, teams like Cadillac and Aston Martin would die to have him in their ranks. Yes, they're definitely questionable compared to Mercedes' project, but at the end of the day, Wolff won't have a strong leading driver in 2026. And in a situation like this, every move matters. So, Russell could do as much harm to Mercedes as they can do to him. It's also up to the shareholders and the CEO, Ola Kalinius, who gave Wolff the green light to talk with Verstappen about a potential collaboration in the foreseeable future. That future seems to be in 2027, but whether or not this will become a reality, time will tell. We do know one thing. None of them are giving up on having Max in their team, regardless of what it takes. And if this thing develops in an unwanted direction for Russell, we're going to have one of the most vigilante-style seasons in the history of F1. With all of this in mind, do you think that Russell will be dropped for Verstappen in 2027? Hence the delay in the contractual talks between him and Mercedes? And more importantly, do you think that this is a smart choice by Wolff? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.